What's your feeling about Nagelsmann? If the chances of Nagelsmann becoming the next Tottenham manager, John, at this stage, do you feel like this is something that's going to happen or get it done, or it'll be he's going to pie us off and go somewhere else? What's your feeling?
My feeling is that he's going to pie us off, and I don't really know why, but I just have this horrible feeling that he thinks that there's a better job out for him if he waits. And I've flip-flopped on this massively. Like, I was very much like, if we can't get Poch, get Nagelsmann in. He's amazing, and I think he is an amazing coach. But I'm now starting to drift into this mindset of like, but is what we need just like an amazing coach, or do we need someone who is more of a galvanizer, more of a sort of personality type person who can kind of bring the players together and make them feel a certain way, rather than like a tactical expert? Because like Conte's system is so like technical and tactical, and it didn't really work for us as a club, and the players just ultimately just didn't get on board with that. And so I'm sort of flip-flopping again, where I'm not even too sure whether or not I'd be like absolutely gutted if we didn't get him, but I do think he's the best manager available really that we could probably get hold of, and I think if he would be the most exciting as well if we were to get him, just given the way that he plays football. But I'm sure other people feel this way. I'm not super trusting of Levy's ability to be able to go out and go over and above to get stuff done. Even with Conte, that was the second bite of the cherry, right? So like, I'm just a bit worried that he won't just go and get it done when he really should. And
his decision making is his major flaw, because he's spending money. Daniel Levy's spending money, right? We invested in the team, last summer. The amount of money he's spending isn't in question, but his decision making got Jose Mourinho wrong. I thought it was the right thing to bring him in. Got Conte wrong. I was over the moon when Conte came. Got Nuno wrong, but that was on Paratici, you could argue. Like, is it a similar situation where you're thinking Nagelsmann, obviously, that is a great coach who, by right, shouldn't be coming to Tottenham because of our lack of success over the last 20 years, but we're able to get him, and are we within 2 years from now, using hindsight, going to be looking back now and going, it was the wrong man for the job again? I don't know. Rick, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I like John was saying, there was one part like last week I thought, yeah, we're going to get him. He'll definitely come Tottenham. And then I've seen a couple of other articles saying that he's pricing himself out. Like, he's asking for too much in wages. He's asking for this. He's asking for...
Surely we'll give him the same as Conte, or...
I don't know.
£15 million not enough for you?
Well, so 15 million, like, we have no idea what's happening, because like he could, like, the offer on the table could be like, well, you're 35, you haven't got this experience like Conte and Jose have, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. We don't know what salary. I'm just kind of like, you're just reading the papers and you just go off your own.
There's no club in the world that will pay Nagelsmann more money than Tottenham, I don't think so. Real Madrid maybe, but Spurs will pay. That's how we got Jose Mourinho. That's how we got Conte, is because we were willing to pay £15 million a season. Jose Mourinho was earning more than any footballer at the club. So that's why. Does anything about him? Do you have any sort of red flags with him, Rick? Do you think?
Yeah. Is
his arrogance going to be a problem? How about this?
Maybe Rick? Maybe not his arrogance, but I would probably. I do have reservations. It just has the AVBs about it. It does. Like, he AVB was hugely respected.
But he'd had a fire,
and then he went Chelsea, and then there was these. There was like confusion over his communication about phases of play and how he wanted to play, and the players just didn't get it, and then revolted. And if Nagelsmann comes here, I see good things, and then I see other things. Like, I think there was an interview, and he was saying like about like the management, 70% is communication, and he makes sure that he is not a father figure, but that he's open, he's honest, he wants that relationship with his players. But then when you do that, do you cross that line because he's only 35? And you know, when your boss is your mate, and you start like digging him out, and you're like, nah, you've gone too far. That's your boss. That's your boss, man. You need to.
Yeah, when you call him,
yeah.
All right, dickhead. When you come in through the front door.
Oh yeah. But one of those embarrassing ones. Dad. Oh, sorry. I mean, shit.
Did you ever call your tutor mum?
Yeah, loads.
John, how important is the relationship? If Nagelsmann comes in like 35, just a few years older than Harry Kane, how important is it that them two get on? Firstly, to keep Harry Kane at the football club, but also the short-term success, because that kind of feels like he's the power. He's Tom Brady for Tottenham now, Harry Kane. Whether he's a player or a coach or whatever his role is, he's so influential at Tottenham that Nagelsmann that relationship needs to work. And Kane's he's a professional, isn't he? He will get on with anyone, and he will continue to score goals for Tottenham regardless of the situation. The political situation he finds himself at Tottenham, previously, where he'd been looking for a move to City and was let down in his own, what he would consider to be let down by not being allowed to leave and join Pep Guardiola. But that relationship is massively important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really crucial. I was just thinking, in my career, I've had to come into businesses where the sort of person I'm managing is the star salesperson, and they're older than I am. And my usual approach with that is the same I hope that Nagelsmann will take, which is you sort of pull them to the side and sort of, I guess, blow smoke up their ass a little bit and say, look, I'm going to basically look to you for help and for advice and for guidance on what to do, and I want you to have an impact on the way that the team is run and the way that we do things. So sort of kind of keep it to yourself, but I'm going to come to you and give you special treatment, and because I value your opinion and value the way that you work and value the things that you do, and kind of single them out without doing that in front of the whole group. And I think Nagelsmann kind of needs to do that here, where he kind of says to Harry, look, you're the star player, but you're also one of the most experienced here. Make him the captain early doors. Tell him that you're going to build the team around him, and ask for his input on even just small little things about what time training should start, what are we having for lunches, all the stuff to make him feel like he's really involved and is appreciated. I think if he does that, and we're playing in a way that gets the best out of Kane, which, my understanding of the way Nagelsmann plays, one of the key factors is basically having a bigger, more target man type, and then a runner in behind, which is basically Kane and Son at their best, right? Yeah. But the difference is he's had Poulsen and some pretty moody strikers in the Kane role. It's imagine having Kane and Son playing in that way. Suddenly becomes really exciting, and those two could just absolutely run riot. So I think it's just that combination. You can say whatever you like. If the football's dross and Kane you're not getting the best out of Kane, it doesn't matter how well you do it, and vice versa. So he needs to just get him on side early, and I think that it would work fine. I don't think the age thing's a big issue for Kane, if I'm honest. I think what he wants is he wants to see success and something work well, and I think he'd give someone the benefit of the doubt. And let's not forget, it's not we were talking before about Mason, right? Nagelsmann has won stuff for Bayern Munich. He's been Bayern Munich manager. It's not just some fucking Mickey Mouse nobody. He is the one people refer to as the next Pep Guardiola, that sort of young, exciting manager doing extraordinary things very quickly. He's had a couple of different clubs and seen sort of relative success at each one. So
yeah,
it's slightly different. Yeah,
massive improvement at Hoffenheim, at Leipzig, and obviously Bayern Munich manager as well. And Bayern Munich haven't done well since he left. I know
they've fallen off a cliff.
They've sacked Nagelsmann because they wanted Tuchel. And obviously Tuchel's sort of reputation in Germany is incredible, and he's very well thought of. But they're not playing better for Nagelsmann not being there. So I just feel if we have the opportunity to get Nagelsmann, we should. And it sounds just let's see what happens. And then that like I say, that relationship with Kane is really important. And I wonder whether or not he'll go into this thinking Kane might be an issue because I'm his age, or his ego is so, you have to be a psychopath to be a football manager at the top level. You have to believe in your way and be unwavering in it despite what is presented before you in order to succeed at that level. Most psychopaths have very high powered jobs where they make decisions that affect the lives of many, many people. and they don't lose any sleep over it. Do you know what I mean? So let's see if we can get him, we get him. If we do, we'll be excited. And I was speaking to a Man United fan on Saturday, and he was looking at me. He was like, I don't understand how Tottenham can attract a manager as good as Nagelsmann. I don't understand it. He was saying, why would he go to Spurs? And I said, we're a big fucking club, mate. Look at us. Imagine when we start winning things. We're attracting these managers now. Imagine when we if we ever start winning things, what will we become? A horrible, massive club that everybody hates. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I would love to sit down. I would love to sit down with Nagelsmann and say that to him, and say to him, like, look, think of all the problems you had at Munich with like these old players who are now part of their like sort of football hierarchy. Who basically he fell out with them because he wanted to change up a goalkeeping coach that had been there for years, and the hierarchy didn't like it, and he ruffled a few feathers because he rolls on his fucking skateboard and all this bullshit that goes with it. So at Spurs, it's like you're going to get a lot more control because like that hierarchy's like new, right? Munn's come in, and we're going to need a new director of football. You can come in and help shape that. You've got the best striker in the world in Harry Kane. You've got like Son, when he's on form, is like one of the best strikers in the league, certainly, or one of the best attacking players in the league. You've got a World Cup winning defender in Romero. You've got bits of quality all over the pitch. Think of the upswing that you can have by spending a bit of money. We've got this massive stadium, which means that we can spend money now, which we haven't been able to do previously. You've got this amazing fan base that's like continuing to grow. Like there's so many positives. There's so much upside, basically. Like if you come in and it doesn't work at Spurs, from his perspective, it never works at Spurs, right? Conte, Mourinho, you can just go to another job and like people be like, oh, at Spurs, it doesn't matter. But if you make us win stuff, you literally are you are legend, not just at Spurs, but everyone in world football is going to be like, this is the man that fucking did it with Spurs. This is possibly the greatest manager we've ever seen. And then let's just say that's just like a random FA Cup, right? It's the monkey off the back. Everyone's like, wow, that's amazing. Imagine you just go and like win the league, win a Champions League with Tottenham, and then do it again and just build a dynasty. You will literally be like from standing start. You'll be up there with the Fergusons and Guardiolas of this world. Like immediately, no one could argue that because it's like Forest and fucking. What's his name? Cloughy. Like, it would just be unbelievable.
I do think that that's part of the attraction of Spurs. Like, they know that they've got the training ground. They've got this massive stadium to play football in. They know they're going to get money each summer. He might, part of him, if he is as egotistical as I think he is and psychopathic as I think he is, he must be looking at this going, I can do this. Like, I can do what Conte and Mourinho... Imagine what it does for his legacy if he can do what Conte and Mourinho couldn't. That is huge for him. And even if he stays 2 or 3 years, he wins an FA Cup, we challenge for a league title, we finish second playing well. If like all of that sounds like an absolute dream to me right now, obviously. But if he can do it, his stock goes fucking through the roof and any job is his. Any job. Yeah. If he has a successful stint at Tottenham, any job in the world is his. And I'm not saying as a Spurs fan, I'm looking like, well, I don't want us to be a stepping stone. All clubs are stepping stones now. Even Real Madrid, a manager's there for a couple of years and then he moves on. This is the nature of it now. If he comes to Spurs and turns us into something else that we can be proud of in the way that Pochettino said, well, I'm going to make you proud. If we can change us into that club again, and as Spurs fans, we can't wait for the next game. I don't remember the last time I've looked forward to Spurs playing. It's almost like, I'm having a great day. Fuck, Spurs are playing tonight. It's been like that for 3 years. Just to have a manager that makes us think, no, boys, you're going to enjoy this. Like we might lose. We might lose, but it won't be because we're fucking bending over for them. And that's what I like about Ryan Mason, to be fair, is we might lose this game, but we are not going to bend over, and we're going to try and instill our will on this game. We're going to affect it. We're going to make you worried. Against Liverpool, we lost, but I actually there was definite pride in our comeback, and it was a bad mistake that led to their goal, but no one does that to Liverpool at Anfield ever. So just to have pride in that and look at the way we're playing and think, yes, yeah, that I can get on board with that. That's all Nagelsmann needs to do. And if he is as good as everybody says he is, then we could, if he signs, have a couple of very exciting years at Tottenham Hotspur, maybe 3 years.